Moscow is watching, and it is not staying silent. As the European Union formally launched its first accession negotiation cluster with Ukraine in Luxembourg on Monday, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov reacted with sharp criticism, calling EU involvement in Ukraine's future part of an openly hostile agenda against Russia. For Moscow, this is not integration, this is provocation.
The EU has radically changed since that time. Now, when Donald Trump's administration is cooling down towards Europe with regard to Washington's contribution to ensuring its security, as you know, there are several tendencies in the EU. One of them is to simply make the EU a military independent bloc, in accordance with Article 47 or 45 of the Treaty on the EU.
The talks, held under the so-called Fundamentals Cluster, cover rule of law, democratic institutions, and fundamental rights. Brussels and Kyiv held the formal accession conference in Luxembourg, with Ukraine's Prime Minister. Moldova simultaneously opened its own accession talks. Lavrov has consistently maintained there is no place for the EU at any table shaping Ukraine's future.
From our point of view, Ukraine's involvement in the EU will certainly be used by those who want to militarize it. Moreover, Zelensky himself has repeatedly said that he is ready to lead the European armed forces. From the perspective of the EU's internal problems, Ukraine's accession may not be a bad idea. Then they will simply fall apart.
This breakthrough was made possible only after Hungary lifted its 2-year veto. All 27 EU member states then unanimously unblocked the talks. Lavrov's position is categorical. He has accused EU nations of pursuing revanchism and seeking Russia's strategic defeat, questioning why Brussels, which he says wants to prolong the conflict, should have any role in Ukraine's path forward.
The EU is building all its structures in the sphere of strengthening and security against the Russian Federation. If they want to destroy their multilateral economic structure and become a military bloc, this is an invitation to great trouble for them. From the point of view of the EU's internal problems, it may not be a bad thing for Ukraine to join the EU. Then they will simply fall apart.
The Fundamentals Cluster is the first to open and the last to close in any EU accession process, covering 5 chapters, including judiciary, justice, public procurement, statistics, and financial control. Ukraine applied for EU membership in spring 2022 and formally opened accession negotiations in June 2024, completing its screening process since then. Progress on this cluster will set the pace for all negotiations ahead. Cyprus's Deputy Minister for European Affairs, Marilena Raona, called it a historic milestone, saying Ukraine's future is now firmly anchored in the European Union. Moscow sees it differently, as yet another step in anchoring Ukraine inside a Western structure built, in Lavrov's words, on an openly hostile stance toward Russia. The accession road is long, but it has now officially begun.
We are categorically against the violation of all the obligations of Ukraine to join NATO. The EU is an economic bloc that deals with peacekeeping, projects aimed at improving the well-being of its citizens. We have no complaints here.